You always just got to tackle when
I think like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on.
Early morning business, as the big man Ian Wright said there. People deluded, I'm back again. Long time, Mr. Hollywood, Mr. Matisse, the man that me and Rance used to keep saying, start your damn YouTube channel. And look at him now, man. Listen, my boy.
There we go. I'm good, brother. I'm good. The cameras are messing about this morning, but here's where. How are you? How are you, brother? It's good to see you again.
I'm good, man. I'm trying to be like you, G. Trying to be like you, man. Trying to have the high tech and that. See, I'm seeing guys pressing buttons and lights and doing mad things. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. Oh, mate, I don't even know where to start. What's been new, man? What's been going on,
Bro? It's been good. It's been a lot recently. Obviously, there's a lot of mad stuff going on over the weekend, but managed to finally address what needs to be addressed on other platforms. But yeah, it's been mad, bro. It's been mad. I'm sure you've seen it. It's mad, bro. It's mad.
brother? It's mad, yeah. What I find funny is, yeah, like obviously we know what you're talking about, but it's like you're not there, you've got nothing to do with it. And everyone's looking at you like, bro, with these, right? You know, even me, I got nothing to do with it, man. I find it complete madness, man.
Straight
like,
bullets.
Straight bullets, like, oh, you're a sympathizer if you're there, man. Personally, I mean, this is my platform, you know, I'm just gonna say it, you know, free Palestine, there's nothing wrong with that, but moving away from that, yeah, free anyone who's oppressed and any oppressed group in this world, yeah, where do we start? Obviously, I actually want to, before I ask you about Chelsea, Arsenal, and all of that jazz, smash the like button, folks. What do you make of Arteta as an outsider looking in this period since turning Arsenal into title challengers / obviously where we are at the moment, 15 points, I think, off Liverpool?
Well, first of all, Arteta, I think he has shown cracks in terms of obviously walking out of that interview. He said over my dead body, and it wasn't the time to say that because everybody, well, most people could see it was coming towards an end in terms of the title race. I thought, for me personally, as soon as Saka was out, your best attacker, and you didn't do anything in January to replace him, obviously this wasn't gonna go the way you guys wanted it to go. I think him signing a new deal, saying they're the best owners, saying they can use internal solutions, that doesn't help. You've got to put pressure, you've got to apply pressure and say, listen, yes, I've made a mistake with the Havertz selection, but I need this, I need that. So it's very clear, you know, what is going on. In terms of the football, I feel like you have regressed. Like the first couple of years was just ridiculous. Like not the first couple of years, the first couple title challenges were, especially the first 2022,
23 / last year, 23, 24. This year's been horrible.
Oh yeah, the first title challenge was like, oh shit. Do you know what I mean? It was, you know, Liverpool under Klopp, it was like similar, more in that vein. It was like, it was intense. It was, you know, back to front quickly, people getting goals. It was entertaining. And you're thinking, damn, if they keep that up and Saliba does stay fit to the end and they do add a couple of final touches and it's not Havertz, it's someone else,
God.
Jesus, you're thinking, oh shit, they're going to do it because why wouldn't they? You know, but then he's I don't know if it traumatized or scarred from not winning the first couple. He's reverted to this really cautious, conservative style of football. And I get it because we've had it with Mourinho. It worked for us, but you've still got to have that killer up front. You've still got to have those killers. You've got to have those Drogbas. You've got to have those, you know, you got to have those wingers outside of Saka that can really, and you still got to counter quickly if you're going to be, you know, in that more.
You still got to score goals, regardless. You still, Jose was as defensive as you like. Football is a simple game. You still got to put the ball in the back of the net, no matter how defensive you want to be.
Exactly. So I just feel like he's gone too far away from that, and he's gone far too safe. And you know, this season, I think he's going to get away with the fact that he's not won it purely because those injuries came in, and that is going to kind of, you know, give people a get out to say, right, you got a lot of injuries, and, you know, not a lot, but you had Odegaard, you had Saka, you had the two strikers. Now, give him one more year. But for me, if he doesn't win it next year, and really, you know, you should be saying win, because Yeah, people can say second, you're unlucky. But how many times do you want to be unlucky? How many times do you want to be second? Because at the end of the day, Saliba's contract's running down. And Arsenal's
Saka and Magalhaes too.
Yeah, I think Saka will, we say same with Trent, but I think Saka will probably be all right. But Gabriel, he's not getting any younger. What
27.
What you don't want is this period to be defined by we were there, we almost did it, but we didn't do it, because then you're just Tottenham on steroids. So
exactly, there's no point doing foreplay if there's going to be no penetration, man.
Facts. So I think he's got 1 year. He's got a new sporting director now. He can't be overriding him or overruling him, in my opinion. He needs to just let him make the final calls, obviously based upon what he does tactically and systematically. But he shouldn't be overriding him, because otherwise there's no point in bringing him in. And unfortunately, you've already brought in a few players that, in the end, it hasn't worked for you. The Havertz move, that's a big one, it hasn't worked out. So you have to let this guy cook, see what he does.
I mean, boy, the curry goat's been cooking forever. Obviously, he made some good points there. I do think Havertz has been better than I thought it would have been, but at the end of the day, it's not what we needed. And people can sit here and blame the board. And I don't think there's one single point of blame or failure. I think everything's kind of interconnected. But at the end of the day, if you're going to blame the board, you've also got to caveat that by saying, yeah, Arteta's got a lot of signings, right? But he spent over 100 million on Kai Havertz and Mikel Moreno. Now, if we sign a centre mid to partner Declan Rice, what I want, and you alluded to it, and number 9, those are two positions, that Kai Havertz occupies. So he's immediately out of the side. Now, I know if you want to be a big team, you have to be in that reality where people are going to be on handsome wages and not necessarily be in the starting 11. But Donny's on like 200 grand a week. He's going to have to play. I personally don't feel we've seen the end of the Kai Havertz in midfield experiment. I think you'll see more of that next season. Do you think he should be under pressure, though? And do you think he's under any real internal pressure for everything that the fans say?
I don't think he should be I don't think he's under any internal pressure. Absolutely not. He signed a new deal. He's on a lot of money.
15 mil a year.
Yeah, he's on a lot of money. They as a collective, they as an ownership, they've got to prove that winning the Premier League is on their priority list, because January just went, they didn't do anything. And it was very clear to the whole Premier League that Arsenal need a forward. If it's not a striker, it's a goal scoring winger, it's something. You need to get
some bodies, man.
Yeah, 100%, because there was injuries. There was already an issue with the output anyway, in my opinion, but there was injuries. So they didn't do that. They could put out, as my club do all the time. We got targets in the summer. We got priorities. Okay, but you could have done a loan. Could have made something happen. Done a loan with Sterling. Why not Kolo Muani? Why not Tell? Get something over the line just to give you just to give you some hope. They got to show that it's their priority. And then if it is their priority and they go again in the summer and they back him again, and they backed him already. Let's not forget they've already backed him, but they back him again, then there is no excuse now. If you don't get the injuries that you had this season, next season, you've got to deliver. If he doesn't deliver, it's no shame on him. This is his first big job. It's his first job, And might not be the guy you might be the Brendan Rodgers for us. If he caps out here at this stage of his managerial career, that's no shame on him. He's already exceeded expectations in regards to what people thought when he came in. When he first came in, I was like, yo, we gotta have some fun. We got the comb way. Yeah, I was like, we gotta have some fun today. You know what I mean? I didn't think this guy was gonna have title charges on his roster. Obviously not winning anything, it allows a bit of banter, but if we're being serious, the guy's put up some good points tallies. He's won a lot of games. He's done a good job, but he hasn't done enough, because Arsenal, and this applies to all big clubs, the end goal is to win. You're not at Villa, Newcastle, where this is you got to win. Facts. And if he doesn't win, then you've taken it as far as you can take it. Give it to someone else. Do it before it's too late. Really, is before the people start picking up your players, and then you got to start rebuilding.
And then you got to start rebuilding again and again and again. I mean, this is a chance to ask someone who's got no skin in the game of being an Arsenal fan. Like, do you think Mikel Arteta's got too much power as an outsider looking in? I know we're getting a sporting director, but I do think there's a fee where you look at David Raya. That's obviously an upgrade on Ramsdale, but David Raya, Kai Havertz, Mikel Merino, and to a degree even Calafiori. Like, we all know the mouthpieces that come out and speak when players are being signed for clubs. And I mentioned these names here because some have worked out a bit better than others, but it has the same language in that there was internal conflict as to whether that was the right guy or not. Mikel Arteta's the driving force behind it, and he got his way. Obviously, as you know, he's gone from head coach to manager. Edu employed him as a sporting director. He had indirectly a say in who is essentially replacing Edu. Like, and it does feel to me that they're kind of gearing up to make him the long-term Arsene Wenger-y kind of guy. Of course, he hasn't got the skin in the game that Wenger had, but like, do you think he's probably getting too much power at Arsenal or not?
I think it's tough because you want to give the manager what he wants, because then you can judge him because he says, I got what I need now for my way, for what I plan to do with this club and this team, and then now judge me. And he's been given what he wants for sure, because like you said, you just reeled off the names. Those are the players and the type of players he wanted. But at the same time, a manager is not a scout, and a manager is not an expert on every single player around the world. That's what the scouts are for. That's what the sporting directors are for. We know what they are meant to assess, what profiles you need and what kind of player you need for the way you play. And then it's their job to go and get those players for the right price, for the right wage, on the restrictions that the uppers give them, but also for the quality as well. You'd hope as a fan that the quality is prioritized over all of the other things, but that's not how it works. So has he been given too much power? If Edu said, oh, I think we should get, I don't know, Paqueta, even though he's now probably going to be banned. So that's, you avoided that. But, a player like him. And then he said, no, I want Mikel Merino. Then it's like, really, in theory, Edu is the one you should be going to and saying, sorry, he knows exactly what he's talking about. This is his day-to-day, 24-hour, 24/7 job. He knows what. But at the same time, it's like Arteta, he's the one that's going to be coaching him, playing him. So he also needs. So it's meant to be a collaboration in the modern day. It's meant to be a collaboration. But yeah, I just think Arteta cannot pretend like, or people that obviously defend him, the diehards, they cannot pretend like as if this
Arteta sexuals, man. Let's not mix our words, man.
They can't pretend like as if he is oblivious to what is coming through the door. And
can't behave like he's a damsel in distress, man.
Yeah, he's not. He's not a damsel in distress. He's been given a lot of players, been given quite a bit of money. He's chosen. He's got Calafiori. He's got Declan Rice. He's even had some hell end youth, incredible, players come through, which he's obviously given the chance to. But that is also credit to the youth coaches and the head of youth development. Not every manager has a Lewis Skelly and a Wanyeri to come and I'm not talking about
you lot don't. Cobham, watch out.
Right now, no.
Wanyeri, we're coming for that, bro. There's a certain chili done. We're coming for him, man. Folding, you're not safe, man.
Oh my god.
We'll get into that.
I remember when he used to be telling me, "Yo, you're Calamus in the door. You're not safe." So I'm gonna sit this one out.
I can't lie. I like to see you moved on. I rate him. I want him at Arsenal now, man.
It's good to see. Oh, really? Fuck it out.
Yeah. He's come
full circle now.
Are you seeing who's playing out wide? Like Martinelli. I love Martinelli, but I'm done with the slander. I mean, the propaganda there. Trossard's not the guy, bro. Hudson, I might even have a Lango. I'm desperate, bro. I'm desperate.
Now I know where
Chris Wood is allowed to play for us.
But it's just. He has to if he's going to take on that power, then he's under even more pressure, because you can't take on more responsibility and not deliver. It's like me saying, I'm the CEO of the company, I've got more responsibility, more calls, more say. But then the pressure is the same as when I was a standard
a summer intern.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. If you don't want the CEO pressure, then step down from the CEO responsibilities. Make sure that you're just the coach if you don't want all that extra smoke.
That's what I'm saying. That's why for me, I've got more time for Arteta than the ownership, but I think the gloves are off. I think everybody's involved in it. I think everybody has to share the failings and the success. And I kind of look at it in that at the end of the day, we're second in it. I'm not here to scream from the rooftops but we're second, but whatever we've done in our lives has got us here. How do we get over the line? Arteta, one love for the rebuild and the difficult decisions and the mistakes and the inexperience and times you stood firm in your principles. You've got us to this point, but it's over the line. There's been 3 years now where there's been different talking points. Players have been injured, players haven't. This one's been a star, that one's been a star. End of the day, we haven't won a league trophy. And then I look at the domestic competitions. Obviously, Champions League's the holy grail. We'd love that. At default, we do that this season. But I think that gets you a bit of credit in the bank. And I think the major point for me with Mikel Arteta would be sometimes I think you're at that point now where I know football's complicated, But you've done all the complicated things. Now I think you need to have a simple approach. Just get someone who can score goals. Just do, make sure you've got the depth, etc., and just get over the line, bro. Just that's it with me with Arteta. I've got a lot more time for him than the board. End of the day, the owners are staying here. Arteta took the job initially. He's signed a new deal, so he thinks that he can achieve within the remit. And like you said, as much as I think it's too cozy and nice and happy to be here at Arsenal, at the end of the day, we spent money. Arteta has been backed. You've been allowed stuff. You've been allowed a lot more than Emre. Of course, the situations were different. Now, I think he's under pressure from the fan base because we want to deliver and whatnot. But for every balanced fan that's asking the question, there's fans that kind of like over defend him type of thing, if that makes sense. Obviously, as you said, he signed a new deal worth 50 mil a year. We just lost Eddie recently. We just got a new sporting director. So on the face of it, I don't want to exaggerate a bit because pressure's a privilege and you're managing a big club, but I don't really feel you're under that much pressure because we're already gearing up to the next season thing. If you were in charge of Arsenal, would you sack him though? Because I know if this was Chelsea, I know what you'd be saying.
Hey, if this was Chelsea, it's difficult because unfortunately, we're not the Chelsea we was, and we're still trying to find our identity under this ownership. If this was Roman Abramovich, he'd be sacked. He would have been sacked a long time ago. Like we would have just said, "Yo, that's back-to-back seconds, bye-bye." But
second place, first loser, unfortunately.
Under this ownership, with the mentality that they've tried to instill with the PR and the briefings and the project, it's not the same Chelsea, and it hasn't been the same Chelsea since they came in, and they've still got to get us back there. So I don't actually think we would sack him either. As a club, as a fan, I would be looking for better. Yeah, I'd be like, right, let's go and get Inzaghi. Let's go and get Simeone. I don't know. Let's go and get.
I want Xabi Alonso, man. I know it never signed for us, but I want these new age managers now.
Yeah, Xabi Alonso, Xabi Alonso. I would just say, listen, because I do feel like when you've been with a team for a very long time, especially even if you've won, sometimes the players just need a new voice, new ideas, new motivation. It keeps them on their toes. It's not even to say that you're sacking him because the word sack seems very brutal. It's like
just freshening up the thing.
It's just a freshening up. It's like, what have Arsenal got to lose by getting a new top manager? They've got nothing to lose by getting a new top manager.
Keeping or sacking doesn't guarantee any success, but at one point you've got to change doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Yeah, I think a lot of people they make the correlation of, if Arsenal sack Arteta, the project's dead. First of all, the project is done. You're
project's done, bro. It's a new project now, getting over the line, bro.
Like project finished, house built. Now put furniture in there, make sure it looks nice.
Get some wallpaper.
Yeah, like it's not like he leaves, and I don't think all the players leave. No, they don't. Like that's not gonna happen. They're under contract. If he leaves, someone else comes in, and you just see maybe a new formation next season. You see new tactics. You see new approach, new ideas. But the actual team is still the same. Saka's still there. Saliba's still there. No one's gonna leave. No one's gonna go. You're just trying to win the Premier League. That is what it is. When the new manager comes in, he is saying from the first press conference, "I am here to win the Premier League." That is it. And if we don't do that, it's a failure. And he might set a new mentality in the team. And I would embrace the change personally because I'd be excited. I think unless you make big signings alongside Arteta now, it will be difficult to be excited with the same group or one addition and Arteta again. Do you know what I mean?
I think you're bang on the money, and this is the thing for me. It's like the crucial thing you said is the same kind of voice. Now, I haven't seen the players down tools or anything like that, like I saw to a degree towards the end of Arsene Wenger or obviously Emre, and you've probably seen it with many a manager at Chelsea. I haven't seen that yet, but crucially, I am at that stage, like you put there, like maybe a different kind of voice, maybe get something, because it's exhausting. It's got to be exhausting coming second. It's got to be exhausting putting all the positives into place for these 3 years. Football is very demanding kind of thing. Personally, I feel we dropped the ball in the summer. I like Calafiori. I think he needs to go on a defensive crash course, and he's a fire hazard in that regard, but I'm not going to write off a 22-year-old. But if we're looking at win now mode, Lewis Kelly's keeping you out the team. Moreno, you're not talking to anyone in the front three, in the midfield three. Sorry, by default, you're playing up front. When you went back into midfield against United, it was a myth. So there's another one. The less said about Neto and the less said about your boy Raheem Sterling, the better, really. So I look back at the summer. January, I think Arteta's got to hold that as well. But then I more blame the board, because whether you was, like you said, whether you were suggesting things to Arteta and you was turfing it, if you truly want to win and you see that you need a bit of a boost. Even if you do everything, it's very unlikely you're going to beat Liverpool, but you need to the title, but you need to do something. The fact that you did nothing tells me you're cool with top four. You're kind of harping on about players returning from injury. You're probably looking at it in a sinister way, like you finish in the top 5 positions. Your thing is good, and it just keeps it moving. And it's a weird one because I do think Arteta is a good coach. I don't think he's without faults. I think he's a good coach. I do think he will be, I won't quite say high demand, but if he became, or he would have like a plethora of jobs. But if he became available, I do think people would at least ring him and things like that. But the one monkey on his back, as you said, and I've been saying, is, bro, you need to win something. Like anytime there's a bit of adversity in terms of sink or swim, whether it's the FA Cup against Man United, whether it's the 2 legs against Newcastle, or this Premier League race, which has never been a race. It's been the worst of the 3. The 2022-23 season, as you said, we were good going forward. Last year, we were solid defensively. This season, it's been either stagnation or regression. People can pick their poison. Either way, even if it's stagnation, you can still fall back. So that's where I kind of look at it. And I do think experience can be overrated, but it can't be overstated, because I look at Klopp from the moment he walked in at Liverpool, even when they had a rugby team, the man were getting in finals. Where I look at Arne Slot, people can say it's the Eredivisie and all these things, bro, but there's a bit of experience that maybe he's gone in there and saying, okay, at this moment in time, I can't change too much. They've done me dirty with the players' deals running down in the transfer window. I just kind of need to make little tweaks. And I think Arteta is learning on the jobs. That has to be ruled out now, because you've been here 6 years and been in 3 title challenges. You said we wanted to get here. And that's why I asked you about the pressure, because I do think if like the pressure was to win at this football club, they might say, Arteta, why are you buying Havertz? Why are you playing Havertz up front? I'm not saying Mourinho's a bad player, but if it comes to it and we need either floor raisers or ceiling raisers, can you push the boat out? I hope this Berta guy can do stuff for us, but at the end of the day, like, I'm very wary of one man joining in March, looking in the summer and thinking he can change everything alone. Everyone's kind of got to sing from the same hymn sheet. On the topic of ownerships, though, wait, go on.
No, I agree with you. I think he comes in, and I get that, obviously people are excited, but it depends how much wriggle room he's got, I guess, to actually spend, because that's a lot of people look at the list of signings and they'll say, right, well, he signed these players and that means he's capable of bringing this to us. But what is the balance sheet for Atletico, and what have they made in terms of money and allows him to sign those players financially? And what are you going to do? And are your ownership going to be a bit tight, or are they going to say, wages? I've always said this is the big stumbling block with the striker, is Havertz and Jesus being on 500 and whatever K.
And my man got ATL now as well. So he's not moving until next summer.
He ain't passing a medical. So that's, as a collective, that's what they're making. Any striker that comes into Arsenal, they have to demand more than Havertz. It's mandatory. And you've put yourself in that position because Havertz,
and the new deals as well for Saka and that. If they're not earning more than Havertz, you'll be like, listen, man, need some
Saliba,
deals, bro.
If Saliba signs, so what are those increase in wages gonna do to the budget? And how are you going to sign a striker for that's better than Havertz, undisputedly, but then pay for wages that are more than Havertz,
and still have to use Havertz as well to some degree, because from a political point of view, you spent peas on him, bro. You're gonna have to use him.
Starting 11 money. For me, it's not even the transfer fee that's the issue, because we all know that's spread over 5 years, book value. You can sell.
You bumped us, but we bumped ourselves, man. But
the wages is what is the problem, because if you spend a lot of money on a player but they're on low wages and you're willing to take a loss, that's your business. If you're willing to sell for the book value, that's your business. You spread it over 5 years, you take the hit. But one thing you cannot do is move the wage. The wage is the wage, and the player has now become accustomed to that wage. So any clubs coming in, I need this money. All right, so you're gonna pay me off. You gotta pay part of my wage on the
facts.
That is something that is much more damning than the fee. But yeah.
I think you're bang on the money, man. And obviously, this is what I mean about, like, things aren't going to just change in one season. Obviously, you could caveat it and say, on one hand, maybe Arsenal need a bit more than just a striker. But I think to the starting 11, there's about 3 players that's needed. And allegedly, I imagine all clubs are laying the groundwork to their signings in the summer. Allegedly, Jason Ito, the interim, has been helping with Zubamendia and all of this. But as you said there, we need to sort out new contracts and the knock-on effects. Also, you need to bring in players. Like, in an ideal world, you make a decision on on the Thomas Partey's, the Zinchenko's, the Tierney's of this world. If you haven't already, you're on big money. You bring in, the dream would be Isaac, but whether it's Isaac, Osimhen, whatever, they're going to be on something handsome. So that's one. Saka, Saliba, Magalhaes, their new deals, and then anything else. So it's a knock-on effect. But this is where I go back to the summer, bro, and I feel Arsenal fans, purely because we're football fans, all the things me and you are talking about owners and all of this is all this new age stuff. We're meant to just care about the football pitch, right? Like it's all the kind of new things in it. I just feel fans can be, including myself, can be forgiven for not being excited necessarily, but 2 points off City, bullish chat on the last day of the season, needing just a striker, just a this, just a that. And then that's the fans really hoping that Arteta improves. But then you look at the summer, and like I said earlier, like we brought in no level raisers. I do think, rightly so in theory, that there was a bit of a remit to kind of make some money on sales, because we've not really done that really, and we need to get better at that. So I had no problem. You know me, I love Smith Rowe. I didn't want him to go, but I understand it. I hear it, money, FFP, whatever. Same with Eddie Nketiah, the same with a loan for Fabio Vieira. My issue is that you let the bodies go. You didn't bring anybody in, even with everybody fit, even in the summer with everyone fit and no one leaving. I still thought the squad was too short. Arteta at numerous points last season said we got one of the smallest squads, right? And I mean, I believe that. You've got a squad of 17, 18, maybe 19 max trying to compete in 4 trophies. The maths isn't mathing. So we kind of, when I look at it, and obviously selling Ramsdale, it seems like the club are not as ambitious as maybe Arteta, because I do think he's ambitious for all his folks and definitely us fans. That's why for me, I've kind of had to temper my kind of expectations. You said it there, like, why do you think, like, if you was to look at Arteta's signings, Raya, Ramsdale did well for a point, Raya did well. Basically, the defensive third, and that'll push maybe the middle third. I know Odegaard's not flavour of the month, but Odegaard, Rice, Partey, I would say the defensive and middle third's been all right. The final third has been the issue. Like, why do you think there's been a reluctance to sign a forward? Why do you think, like, why do you think we haven't signed the forward? What do you think he wants from a striker? And like, why is it taking so long? Because our best attacker, fair enough, is Saka, but essentially he's a hay lender. The next one is probably now Wanyeri, who is a hay lender. Obviously, Trossard was at a point was giving us a bang for our buck. And ironically, we only got him because you lot gazumped us for Mudryk. But like, why do you think there's a reluctance to go for that forward?
Just can you imagine if you signed Mudryk and Mudryk had not played to the level, right? And he was just
talent ID stinky.
He's just meaty like he's been for us. I mean, that would have been compounding on top of, you know what I mean? It would have been
scary,
insane. Bro, it's mad. So I feel like Arteta doesn't want Mavericks. He doesn't seem to want someone that's unpredictable as a character and also as a footballer. I look at the players that you've signed, and they're very much they're easy to manage. You know, they seem very easy to manage. They're very you know, they're introverts in the way that they play. They're not expressive. It's about control. It's about having every single detail, you know, completely accounted for, and there's no room for there's no room for a jack in the box, a wild card. Oh shit, no one saw that coming. A little bit of, you know, when the fans get off their seats at once, and you can hear the seats all moving. That there's nobody like that, and I do feel like that's by design. I personally ain't trying to see none of that, because listen, football is about the best, watching the best, especially in the attack. The defense, 100%, lock it up, block it up with 6'5" fours. You know, great defenders, stable defensive midfielders. I get it, but at some point you got to throw in a couple of Mavericks, even if it is. And I've said this before, because I feel like Rice is best in a pivot. I've said this for a while. I think the way that
he's making him an 8 though, man.
Yeah, the way he's able to carry the ball, yes, he's able to cross, he's able to shoot, but at the same time, he's not a line breaker to say the least. He's a Nemanja Matic kind of pivot next to a Zubimendi. But then who's the 10? If it's not Wanyeri, because you're looking after him, Odegaard, he's not the creator. He's more of a dictator,
facilitator kind of
Ryan Cherky.
Pass before the pass,
bro. Ryan Cherky, and I'm not saying Ryan Cherky has to bench Odegaard, but can you imagine low block last 20 minutes? You're bringing on Ryan Cherky, both footed, Santi Cazorla, hips are swerving, bro.
But you said it there, like he's not he's not a controllable guy. 2, he's too random in the system football. Like it's a pipe dream us getting.
Bro, but that is what
he's everything.
That's what Arsenal are about. And again, it's not to say, oh, he has to start and how is he going to work off the ball? I get all that. But just give yourself one maverick, give yourself one option. So then when you do need something out of the blue and it is getting stable, it is getting stale, in he comes to make something happen. Any angle, any pass, any dribble, any carry, he's got it in his locker. And it's just players like that I feel like a lot of managers in these days, systematic, managers, they don't want those type of players. It's a shame because those are the type of players that can change everything for you if you use them right. But yeah.
And that's the thing, man. I feel it's being lost because the players will always make. You could caveat that and say the systems have always been there. Like 4-3-3 has always been there at certain clubs, and you can caveat that and say the individuals still make the games, but it's never been more system based. Like Odegaard's primary job is how he ties into the system rather than what he does from a selfish individual kind of point. The same with Bukayo Saka. The system is geared for Saka, like moving inside and whatnot, even down to Martinelli holding the whip for whoever's on the left hand side holding the whip, and like you mentioned, Declan Rice running. And I just think Arteta is that. I do think he's going to have to learn to manage mavericks and bad attitudes, quote unquote. You could say he managed it with Aubameyang, and then obviously Shaw broke the camel's back. But naturally, typically, good players are going to have a bit of that, and you have to give them a bit of leeway. What do you think of? Because I feel. Go on.
On your point, on your
point. No,
keep
going. I was just going to ask you something else. Go on.
Yeah, you see, there was a moment against Man United, right, where the ball went down the left. And Odegaard was in the right channel of midfield. And it was so natural to just be like, do you know what? I'm the most attack-minded midfielder. The ball's gone out wide to the left. The player's running onto it. There's no one near him. There's no support. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to help him and link up. And you see Bellingham do it for Madrid. You see Rodrigo, Vinny switch flanks and Mbappe drift in and they go together as a cluster. They do a little couple link up, switch it out, ball. There's a bit of freedom. This brother was looking over his shoulder at the right wing when the ball was on the left. He's like, damn, am I standing in the right? He's like, am I standing in the right place? Am I close to my right winger? Brother, the left winger is the one that needs the help. Can you not go over there and then the other midfielders see you over there and move and say, right, what's going on with the freedom?
Facts.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you think Odegaard's hiding? Like, not only that, do you think Odegaard's hiding? And on one hand, I hear it. You're just doing what the manager's telling you to do, and you got to be disciplined and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, but do you think, maybe not even necessarily just with Arsenal, do you think players at times should deviate from the system or show a bit of responsibility and randomness, as much as it's a double-edged sword?
I would love to say yes, but we don't know what these managers are saying to them at halftime and in the dressing room and on the training ground. They might be saying, listen, guys, you need to do, they might be really militant. They might say, listen, you need to do exactly what I'm telling you to do. And if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, I'm dropping you. And that's it. And when you kick that, when you really get into a player's psyche day in, day out, every day at training, and you tell them this over and over again, it can become just automized for them, where they have forgotten their own freedom, their own expression, their own way of play. I'm sure Odegaard, if given the lease to go to the left, he would go. I really do think he would. But I think over time you can really, and this is what they do, right? They get into your head and they say, right, this is what I do. And he's been there for years. And now it's like, you have to, it's like being in a normal job. You work with the same boss for that long and they've got a way of doing things. Right. You start doing it and you forget that you can do it a different way. I think that's what it is. I don't think he's limited to not being able to do that, but it's not too late. It's just got to that point now where he knows his job and he does his job, and that's that,
I think you're bang on the money, man. I think both of our teams are kind of on brand in that neither fan bases are happy. But when you speak of Maresca and Arteta, they're kind of similar. They're the new age managers. They wear the nice tracksuits and they're very particular and mercurial in how they approach things. Yeah. What do you think of these phases things, man? Because Chelsea I'm starting to hear it with Chelsea. Phase this, phase that. Well, obviously the poster boys of phases. What do you mean with what do you think of that phase stuff, man?
It's marketing. It's PR. It's something they're selling you. Because they wouldn't be saying it so often and putting it out there if they weren't trying to sell it to you, the people. They want you to get on board with that.
Selling hope, man.
Yeah, because it buys them more time. It buys them more time to to say this is the long-term vision, this is the plan. Now, if they do it properly, then fair enough. You can have a project. You can have, we'll build brick by brick, but just make sure you're building correctly, because if you're not building anything. And then when we get to the cutoff point where even the most project-led fan has said, right, it's been 5 years now, what you got for me? You ain't got nothing? Okay, now it's problems. But really, if you do it, if you're not coming into a decimated, terrible team, you should be able to sort that situation out in 4 windows in 2 years, max. It's not rocket science. People sometimes, these guys like to overcomplicate football.
Overcomplicate this.
You need a top keeper, you need a top striker, you need a good balanced midfield with defense and goals in it, and you need leaders and defenders. Now, if you don't have any of these things, you might have to build it in house. You might have to take your time going to get the right players, but it shouldn't be taking 5 years. And come on, where is this, man? Do you know what I mean? It's not. You're not. I've seen Villa go from 17th under Gerrard to Champions League. I've seen Newcastle go from wherever they were to Champions League. I've seen Forest 17th to Champions League, and you're trying to tell me a team that was already in and amongst.
It's only 1 year, but slot.
Yeah, slot. Yeah, and I'm seeing a team that was already in Champions League, already in the outskirts of Champions League, stability, and they can't get themselves to winning a league or being up there in a couple of years. I think they're having us on a little bit, but yeah, if you're building a project, you just need to make sure you get it right, because you are wasting people's time a little bit. You know what I mean? You are taking liberties, so just make sure you're doing it properly, because if you're not, now you're really just playing too many games.
I mean, I'm moaning about the Cronkies and my ownership and whatnot, yeah. But as an outsider, what are you lot protesting and whatnot about? Like, you spent £1 billion odd, you're getting all the players playing real life Football Manager. Your owners got deep. Fair enough, you could argue that it's not being done in the right way, but if you throw enough money or shit at a wall, it's gonna stick. And I think his intentions there. Like, why aren't you lot happy with the owners of your football club and everything that's going on, man? Like, paint a picture for us, that us non-Chelsea fans, man, we don't know what's going on over there.
So with the billion spent, when they took over from Roman, we went through a process, and it was fast tracked, because obviously it was outside factors that were influencing the takeover and the sale and the UK government and all that kind of stuff. So because of that, the sale was rushed, which means it wasn't done in the time frame really that it would.
Money's still frozen in the UK account, apparently.
And it was like eBay. Chelsea are up on eBay. And, put your bids in. This is the asking price. And then when the bid goes over the asking price, we just go and keep going. And basically, once we got over the asking price, or once we got to the asking price, they started adding in factors. And one of those factors was, you've got to spend $1 billion within the first 10 years and show that you're going to invest and you're going to improve the facilities, or you're going to invest in the squad, because they didn't want someone to come in with the intentions of, oh, we've got the club now, we ain't going to spend a penny.
Doing the Glazer thing, or to a degree what we've got.
You can't take out dividends like the Glazers, all these kind of things. So these things were put in place to try and narrow down the amount of owners that were trying to buy us and get to the real one, right? And that's what they did. So the billion spent, for me, the first $1 billion that has been spent is very much mandatory, very much part of the takeover money, because you had to do it. And they've just chosen to not do it over 10 years. They've chosen to do it in 2 years or 2.5. That's their decision. But that, for me, you don't get credit for spending the money you had to spend. You've chosen to spend it.
That's a good point.
You've chosen to spend it quickly. You've chosen to spend about 250 million of that on very young players for a multi-club model, or for sell on, and for that's your decision. You've spent 250 or 215 of that on 2 players. So when we talk about $1 billion, I'm already accounting for about 400 of that on 2 midfielders and young players like that you've not even heard of, Washingtons and
probably sound a Brazilian called Washington. You look got bumped. I can't lie.
Cassadays and Chukwuemekas. You lot don't even know what's going on with that money, right? And then the rest of it is first team. But the reason why we're onto them is because there's a lot of little subplots going on. You've got Vivid Seats with Todd Boehly, where he has got a conflict of interest, where he owns, or he's part of a company in America that basically sell extortion. They sell tickets at extortionate prices you know, for foreign fans to come to Stamford Bridge.
Americanization settings.
So, you know, that's a conflict of interest. You're meant to be trying to stop ticket touting. You're meant to be bringing the prices to a respectable level for the everyday.
You don't care because I'm getting paid either way.
Exactly. You're having your cake and eating it. That's how
literally.
Yeah. So that's a problem. We're looking at the way that they've spent the money and the fact that they're trying to almost prioritize buying young players, but not to develop them, because some of them are going, you know, into the under 23s, or some of them are going on loans that don't make sense, to rush to loans. They're doing it to just, you know, stockpile and sell on. We don't want to be a club that is just focused on that. And also it's the mismanagement of the money in the first place, because how can you spend this amount of money and then we go through this spine and you don't have what you need? You don't have a top keeper. You don't have a striker that can bang 20 goals.
You lot's keepers are shit.
You know, you don't have a goal scoring winger. You have to be accountable for what you spend. That's why I get onto the directors a lot, because I feel like even within the restrictions that the ownership give with the wage structure, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Liverpool have had that, right? It's not Roman, it's not Chelsea, it's not Man City, or
7-8 year deals as well.
It's not Man United, but I don't want a wage structure like Man United. I don't want players to be overpaid and have no motivation to play. So I understand that. I understand that we've got a budget now, and we're not, you know, we haven't got Roman to just take the debt
bankroll
away.
Everything.
Yeah, bankroll everything. I understand that. So we've only got a 42k capacity stadium. I understand that. So yes, things are going to be different. I'm not expecting us to just dash 100 million. I would actually like us to have spent less. I think we've spent too much. Why have we spent all this money? Why is it every window we need to buy 6-7 players? I only want 2-3. I said this last time. I say it again. Just get what you need and get out. Don't do all this extra kerfuffle.
When you cut corners, you got to do bare things.
Exactly. These guys, they get themselves roped into PSR, and they get themselves in, you know, agent-led deals with George Mendes, and there's a lot of nepotism going on with players that used to play for the same club as the scout, and this, you know, it's all too convenient and too much of a coincidence. There's too much nonsense going on, and it's not a focus on the football. And if they just focused on the football from when they came in, and they didn't have an ego of, we're going to just rip up the place, change up the whole medical team, sack everyone, bring everyone in. We've already sacked like 2 CEOs since these guys have come in, you know. Yeah. We don't have a front of shirt sponsor. So when you're talking about making cuts to costs, what about the money from the front of shirt sponsor? That's meant to be contributing. You know, you're looking at the PR, the messaging that comes out. Champions League is ahead of schedule. The manager said we only need to make it next season. This season we didn't need to make Champions League.
That sounds like a loser thing. I can't lie.
That's what I'm saying. This is what's building up all of the anger and frustration. Do I think that? And I've said this before. Do I think that we're going to get the owners out this summer or next summer or this? No, we're not. So for me, that's why I've always said, listen, you can 100% be angry at the ownership. I understand that. I agree with the anger. But the directors who have spent 1 point whatever billion on this team, and the team is not ready, and the team is not ready, and the team is not balanced, and the team has got too many 10s, not enough strikers, all these basic errors. If they didn't mess that up with the mandatory money, and we were second, and we had what we needed, even
still paying Sterling's wages, or the majority of them as well.
If we had simply spent that money better, a lot of these extra other factors that people are not happy with that exist in all ownership. Arsenal releasing tracksuits, taking the piss all the time.
Oh, every week, mate. Surprised we ain't dropped one today.
Yeah, we wouldn't be talking about it, because as much as football fans, yes, we do want to make sure everything is being done to the level and what we want. At the end of the day, the football pitch is what is emotionally deciding whether we're happy or we're sad. If we're winning, we're fine. If we're not, we're not. And that is it. At the end of the day, all these other things matter. All these other things are poor business. They're not even doing the business side the way they should be, let alone the footballing side. But the footballing side always dictates how people are feeling. Simple. And Liverpool fans are a great example of that, because they got 3 contracts running out. They didn't spend any money in the summer. They were pissed, a lot of them. But
fumbled January as well from a recruitment point of view.
But they're winning. So
their owners are laughing, because they're winning, especially after replacing Klopp.
So it's calmer. It's calmer. If Liverpool had not signed anyone, were 4th, players were running out of contract.
Vex.
If Slot weren't doing his magic, if Van Dijk and Salah weren't handling business, if they were 4th with exactly the same ownership structure, they would be losing their heads. Shit would be going left. It's all, if you're winning, everybody shuts up. And we're not in a position to do that because of the way that things have been constructed. But That's what it is. For me, these directors, if we don't make Champions League this season, and I don't trust them even if we do make Champions League, but if we don't make Champions League, objectively, they should be sacked straight away because they've hired the manager, they've brought in the players, they've spent the money.
And everyone that's had the connection to City as well.
Yeah.
It has worked, to be fair, of all the recruitment policies.
Yeah, City, Monaco, and Brighton. Those are our 3 favorite places to pick from. Where are our scouts from? Joe Shields, City, Paul Winstanley, Brighton, and Lawrence Stewart, Monaco. These are the 3 clubs we've
picked all making sense
from. It makes sense, of course. It's easy. So yeah, for me, they shouldn't be here next season. If we're serious, we get a new sporting director at the very least, and we make sure that whatever money we do have left, it goes to a person that has experience at the top level, at a top club. I wanted a Luis Campos because I knew we wouldn't get.
So did I. Apparently, you lot are still in for him. Actually,
we won't get him. But on top of getting a new sporting director, that would have to mean that the owners are not happy with the sporting directors, and that's the issue. They are fine with the sporting directors. They see it as they're doing exactly what they want them to do. They are difficult to work with because they're always putting their 2 pence in. That's why probably a Campos wouldn't join. A Nagelsmann didn't want to join, and Enrique didn't want to join. So that's why the ownership is targeted, and it's understandable because they are the part of the reason as to why we can't bring in the best in class, because the way they work is very different to how a normal football club should operate. So
I think it's a weird one because I think obviously fans are going to be a lot more bullish and whatnot than owners. And yeah, to be fair to the owners, we're not owners of football clubs. We don't know how to run it. A lot of fans will probably run their clubs into the ground. But I think bar probably Newcastle and what Newcastle are becoming, Manchester City, I don't think and maybe a couple, 1-2 other examples, I don't think anyone's necessarily happy with their ownership and whatnot. You lot are not. Obviously, the ambitions there, multi-club structure, money. If they just change things, I think you lot could change your tune. But at the end of the day, you lot are allowed to feel how you feel. I feel Arsenal fans, Spurs fans, Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, obviously. There's very Spurs, if I haven't said that, United, even with their new ones. I think there's very few fans that actually like their owners of their football clubs. So it kind of is what it is. So then, where are you at with Maresca?
Maresca is...
And you lot were in a title challenge, don't think we forgotten, Just because Madueke was saying, no, we're taking someone down with us.
Listen, I said from the get-go, we're not in the race, because for me, the race is... you have to be there with 10 games to go, because that, for me, is the race. That is the race. That is when you can say, right, we are in top 4. Because if you're 10 games to go in the title race, you don't need to think about top 4 anymore, because you've already been there and done that. And that was always my priority. Make sure you've got top 4 wrapped up early, which would have been a big step up for this club.
That now
we've not made Champions League comfortably in a long time. So for us to achieve mid-70s in terms of points, that's a massive jump. If you look at Chelsea's points tallies over the last 3-4 years, mid-70s is a massive jump from even before this ownership, Roman, So for me, I always said, let's not run before we walk, because what we're trying to do is not something that's been done for a while at our club. We always leave it to the last day. I remember we lost to Villa. I remember we beat Wolves. We always leave it to the last day, even under Roman and Tuchel. And that was a far better team. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. I knew we weren't in it, and unfortunately I was proven to be right, because I knew this team. I knew that they weren't ready. But the manager, for me, I look at him as someone that was fast-tracked from Leicester. In a normal circumstance, if clubs are not so obsessed with, being ahead of the curve, with signing 17-year-old players, when really usually in Brazil, you'd let them get to 2021 like Neymar and then move to Barcelona. Because now everybody's trying to get ahead of schedule with Brightons and Bournemouths. They're trying to make sure they get there before them, so they're not charged extortionate prices later on. I get it. Managers are the same now. We was linked to Kieran McKenna. We were linked to Vincent Kompany, Maresca. Everybody, fast track them. So it's difficult for me to be angry with him, because I never expected him to be ready. It's a shot in the dark. It's a hope with him, but he's got lost a little bit in his presses. It's very clear that he's a parrot. He's there to speak for the ownership. He doesn't want to go against them, because, of course, if you go against your ownership and you start talking out of turn, you get sacked. And
like our manager.
But we should have known that when he came in. He's a head coach. He's not a manager. They hired him for a reason.
He'll become a manager soon. Look at my guy. Like, as long as he just gets you lot ticking, he'll get the manager thing.
Maybe. But so it's annoying to listen to the contradictions in his quotes. And 1 minute we're not expected Champions League. That I wasn't told that. Now, oh, we need to get it, because someone must have told me I need it. I'm not interested in all that. I know what you're doing and what you're about. Yeah, fuck all that. What are you doing on the pitch? The guy at the start of the season, bro, was so proactive. He was so ready to make change on the pitch if something's not going right. He was managing things. But at the end of the day, Conference League was a facade. It has always been a facade. We did not. If you
don't win that spray,
we were blowing smoke up our own arse, man. We're beating plumbers, beating electricians, beating.
Didn't even register Cole Palmer until recently, so you weren't taking it serious.
Bro, we're beating these teams and everybody's getting game time. We're thinking, we got an A team, B team, everybody's happy. No, let's get to the winter period. This is the period where Chelsea always struggle. Let's get to the part of the season where the Conference League players actually have to come into the Premier League squad and contribute. Let's get to the point where now there's some rotation. And this is where things go left, because this is where the drop-off is. And he's made some weird decisions in playing Gusto left back when he had Vega, maybe. He's made some late subs when he should have been more proactive. But he's Maresca. He's young. This is his first big job. This is first.
Sounds like my manager, man. Bloody hell.
Me.
Like, they're both from the same school of Pep as well.
Yeah, it's like if this was Inzaghi, if this was Diego Simeone, I could be like, yo, come on. Why are you doing this? I'm so angry. I expect the best. You have been there and done it. Do better.
You got the CV.
This guy, I just have to say, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed at times because it's like, I can't get angry necessarily with him because the people that hired him, it's by design. They know that he's rough around the edges. They know he's new to the scene. They've taken that gamble.
Convenience, man.
Yeah, they've taken that gamble. He was also at City, So again, the link is still there with the former assistant coach. You've taken that gamble. You've brought in your own man that you know and you think can manage your project. If he doesn't deliver, it's not him I'm looking at to be pointing the finger. It's you. Above. It's you because you hired him. You took the gamble. And I said it at the time when he came in. If this works, you're going to get all the credit. If he does as you should, because nobody said, yeah, let's go get Maresca. No Chelsea fan sat there and said, you know what? Maresca's the guy. Like everybody else had higher names on the list. We've had Flicks, all these other managers.
As you said earlier, Enrique, guys like that.
Exactly. So if it works and he ends up bringing Chelsea back to the top level, or even brings Chelsea to title challenging level where we're actually in a real title challenge.
No, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. You're in the title challenge. Don't go anywhere.
No, like I'm talking a proper challenge like you guys were in.
This is not a proper challenge this year, my guy.
Not this year. Not this year.
Last 2 years, maybe.
Yeah. But if he brings us to that level and then he caps out, that's still a good appointment because you've brought us to a level that we wasn't at. And we haven't been at since 2017 under Conte when we last won it.
Sounds like Arteta. You see?
Yes, but then you have to sack him if he caps out.
Sounds like Arteta.
But he hasn't got to that point yet. Do you know what I mean? So if it works, you get the credit. If it doesn't, you don't. And that's how life is. That's what work is. If I'm a
reality of football,
if I'm a YouTuber, I'm producing. I'm gonna get the credit. If I'm not producing, their comments are gonna give me shit. If I'm at work and I'm hitting my targets and I'm making my sales, I'm gonna get the credit. If I'm not, I'm gonna get the criticism. If you're in a position of power and responsibility, you have to take accountability for the good and the bad, and that's it. Simple. Champions League football is up to Chelsea Football Club doing what they need to do on the pitch and in the windows. If they don't get that done, heads have to roll. I'm afraid that's what it is.
Let's speak about that, man. That sets up the next part very nicely, man. Obviously, it's making me annoyed, man. Big up Liverpool, but I can't even scroll out of it. But yeah, I don't even want to see them top by 70 points. They're running away with it. I can't lie. Relegation is probably sorted, as you know. Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton. Them mathematically they could get out. Them man are probably gone. Liverpool have wrapped up the league. The only real talking points are the European places. Now we could extend that to Europa and Conference and whatever, but from Arsenal with 55 points all the way down to you can't really discount Bournemouth or Fulham really. There's 10 points from 9th to there's 10 points from 9th to 2nd, and there's 10 games more or less give or take to go, bar Aston Villa and obviously Liverpool. What do you make of the top four race? Is it a draw out? Bearing in mind 5 positions probably get it. Like, who do you think gets top 4? What do you make of Chelsea's kind of standards? And going into the weekend, it's a top 4 6-pointer essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are not involved,
We are. What do you mean? 55 points is scary, Have you seen how we've been playing and the results? We're definitely involved.
I don't know. Saka will be back, won't he? Players will be back. You'll be all right.
We got to play you, man. Liverpool. I don't know. I hope you're right, but
if 2 or 3 results go wrong,
can draw ourselves out.
In the next 3 or 4, yeah, maybe then you get him. But the reason why I say you're not involved is because the level of consistency you need to be in there is just so bad. Like nobody in this. Look at the form table. You know what I mean? Nobody in here is consistent. Everybody's losing, then drawing, then winning. Look at it. It's a mess, and this is how it always is. So I just don't believe you guys are gonna be the team that take 2 wins out of 5 and then 2 wins out of the next 5 or 3 wins out of the next 5. You're going to
see how we're playing. You see, Marino's up front, you know. Marino is up front. Anything is possible.
Because it's 5 spots as well, you'd have to finish 6th. I can't see it. If you finish 6th and you miss out on all 5 spots, I could see you maybe finishing 3rd, you know, if it goes real bad. You're not going to finish 6th. If you finish 6th, that manager, I'm sorry, you might need bodyguards. I'll be honest.
You're a bit too. I mean, Julian,
you might need security.
You're a bit too kind, yeah. Because I'm saying if you finish here, you need to go. And I think I think there should be question marks over everything at this football club, apart from Mr. Berta who's walking in. I think there's several question marks about the ownership, about the players. I'm not saying pitchfork times for Arteta, but I don't think you've got a leg to stand on when people present like tangible evidence as to why you've done good, but you might not get us over the line. People sat here and said, when this very team falls off, they've been great for 2 years. When this very team falls off, we're going to be the ones. You haven't been the ones. Let's have it right. We keep saying title challenge, and obviously Arsenal have been. This has been not only the worst of the 3 years. This ain't no title challenge. We've almost averaged been 7 to 8 to 9 points off Liverpool. We ain't been top 9 times out of 10. We didn't build on the summer. And brother, 55 points to 70 for a team that finished 2 points off it last year. As you said earlier, it's regression, man. It's regression. So we're expecting going into the game against Chelsea. Well, going into the game against Arsenal on the weekend, man. The Raheem Sterling / Kai Havertz derby, Jorginho derby.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we need to be organized. I'm not interested in us coming out and having an ego and saying we're gonna play a certain way and lose the game. We need to win. We need to have the mentality of we need to try and win this game. We've drawn.
What's his name? What's his name? I forgot his name. Like he must really be cold because when he bucks into the G, he's always freezing. See his name, man. Can't remember them boy there, man. I can't remember the like Palmer or something.
I hope that comes back to bite you. I really do.
He'll get a penalty. He might miss it like the weekend.
That's a moment right there, people. And I really hope it comes back to bite you. I really hope he responds and he shows life. Yeah, and the brother is resuscitated and he's out on that pitch and he's dealing with you lot and handling business, because that would be a lovely moment.
We ain't scared of no one that eats jam sandwiches, bro. That man there can't even spell Cole. He's lucky he's a footballer. He probably puts crayons up his nose. You see,
Palmer, listen, this is the kind of rhetoric now. This is the conversation. You need to respond.
Don't get me started on Fufana and Cole and all these guys that are better than Saliba. And we see crazy
you for idiots now. Man never taking you for fools, Cole Palmer. Now. You need to
the
respond.
Game's the game. Bro, I don't even want to. Palmer was compared to Saka. I'm screaming, yo, you need to be focused on Wanyeri. It's dark. Wow. It's very dark. Wow. I see Wanyeri slap it on City, bro. I told man about these stat pad duns. Because he's left with.
I'm just that guy at school that's gonna say, "Are you gonna have that? Are you gonna have that? Are you gonna let him talk to you like that?" That's me. Brother. That's my role in the playground. You're chatting to Cole right now. I'm just saying, are you gonna let him say that to you? Really?
Alfredo looks like he works in an all-inclusive hotel. I swear down, he makes the best strawberry daiquiris. 100%.
Are you lot gonna let him talk to you like this? That's all I'm saying. Because personally,
Arsenal don't let me down.
I didn't think you lot would have this. I didn't think you lot would let him say this shit to you. To be honest, that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. That's my 2 pence. But yeah, like we need to get a result, and really we should be trying to win. You guys are not scoring free.
But they're gonna take it, man. I can't.
Yeah, apart from PSV, they were just.
Yeah, but that's an idiot thing, man. They're gonna like any type of shock horror. Like some Arsenal fans like to do this shock horror. Like teams are going when teams set up it against us in the low block, we're gonna struggle because we can't break teams down owing to Arteta in the team. Two, if you know Arsenal are quote unquote good on the transition and good going forward and scored 90 odd goals last season, why on God's green earth are you going to be open? It does not make sense. You look at how Arteta, for all of his criticisms, one reason we're a lot better, and even though I'm bitching about being second and being blown out the water by Liverpool, we're there is because we're better defensively. Teams like you've seen it, United have done it. I don't think Arteta's beat Amarin. Amarin did it. Eddie Howe did it. West Ham Donny did it. Sean Dyche did it. Low block is cash money. If Chelsea are open, we have a chance, but it's not making sense. And like you said, we're there for the taking, bro. Calafiori up front is a legitimate conversation for me. Raheem Sterling can't get minutes.
He strikes the ball brilliantly, bro. He really does.
Can't defend. This is what we're going through. We've had defenders who can't defend, goalies who can't concentrate, strikers who say scoring is not a strong point. This is a madness. Dog is killing my players, man.
The problem with us is we never low block. We never set up like that. And this is where Maresca has to drop the ego, because like you've said, it is so apparent and so obvious that doing just that and low blocking it is the way to win. That's the way.
Amarin said we don't want to do that, but we had to.
Yeah, and I'm here for a result. I'm not here for your ego. I'm not interested in your way. I really couldn't give two shits. We've not beaten Arsenal since Tuchel, Lukaku, 2020.
When you're batting up them little idiots like Pablo Marie, I told you my time would come, man.
2021, I think.
Yeah, them little idiots like Pablo Marie, man.
At Emirates, at 2-0 win at Emirates. That's the last time we beat you. It's been 4 years. After
and the
4
game
years
at
of not
your
beating
place
Arsenal.
was stinky.
After 4 years of not beating Arsenal, home and away, they're winning at our ground. They're smacking us at theirs. You think I give two shits about your system and your philosophy? Go and do what you need to do. As a top manager, it's your job to manage and to understand your position and their weaknesses and their strengths. And I'm sorry, we do not have enough strengths to ignore their weaknesses. You know,
what are the strengths and weaknesses of both teams for you?
Well,
that's a good point.
If you're a top team, you can say we're going to do it our way because we're that good. We're not that good to be talking about that. So we need to make sure that we are understanding what your weaknesses and coming accordingly. And our attack, we are not free flowing. We're not scoring loads of goals with our attackers. So if anything, do play on the break. Give them a bit more time and space and see if that helps. Neto on the counter, you know.
Scored a screamer against us last time, to be fair.
Palmer, no low block, more time and space when.
Fuck is that?
You know, let's see what he does. But yeah, our weakness is everything in terms of the two penalty boxes. We're not clinical, and we're not creating big chances recently, but we're not clinical.
Join the club.
And we are not good at defending when it comes to clean sheets and
we're not good at scoring, bro.
So resolute. Yeah, we're not resolute. We're not very resolute. We're not very good at managing games and going through moments and getting out the other side. We do crumble. We do capitulate.
Join the club.
So the middle part of the pitch is the favorite part. Enzo and Caicedo. Enzo's in really good form. He's played brilliantly recently.
He's racist though, man. He's getting batted up at the Emirates, man.
I hear it, you know, but this is what Chelsea have had with Marcos Alonso running down, man, and we've had Terry. We've had it all. Do you know what I mean? So you just have to focus on the football and let the gods decide what they want to do with these men.
Amen.
Do you know what I mean? But on the football pitch, man's handling business. Caicedo handling business. And then everything either side of that is the problem. That's the issue. Everything either side of that is the problem. The goalkeeper is the problem. The defense.
All right, Sanchez. You're lucky my team can't shoot, bro. Like Wanyeri, if you're starting, I beg you, any chance, get that shot away, man. My man's got butterfingers. Like up, I think the only even area is the midfield. I think Odegaard's form's been horrible, but he'll be quite prominent in getting little spaces. As much as I banter Palmer, these are the games that you're up for. I do think he's struggling a bit. I think he tried too much after missing that penalty against Leicester. But you're all a hero if you do the business in a game like this, and naturally they're going to be looking at you. And like Odegaard, you're going to be in pockets. It's not really going to be Caicedo against Rice, but them two are going to be prominent figures in midfield. Like you said, midfield is the one. We both know both teams are going to do this inverted crap. I do think both teams can be got at with the high line. More so you lot than us. You say you lot can't defend. I say we can't score goals. Set pieces has deserted us. We're not clinical. I think we're still a bit emotional. I do think I know how we're going to come out. I think we're going to come out firing, have you lot penned in your own half, moving it left and right. Whether we can break you down, put the ball in the back of the net's another thing. That's why I like early goals at Arsenal, purely because it changes the dynamics. Like, I do think we should have won the game in the first half against United, especially if we scored early, but you could caveat that and say at no moment did Onana have to make a big save. And you don't have the quality, and we're there for the taking. You look at the form, I do think it's an even game, and it won't surprise me if it's a draw, man. I'd say score a draw. I'll go with 2-2 or something, bro. A bit like what's been, I think it will be the last 2 years here at Stamford Bridge. I think it will be on brand, like what we've seen at the Bridge versus at the Emirates. I think it'll be on brand with what we've seen at your place at the Emirates on Sunday, man. The last 2 draws at the Bridge have been stinky, man. Very stinky. Stinky games of football.
With you guys in this type of form and with these deficiencies up front, I should be confident, but it's not necessarily worried about you. It's more worried about us. Like, I don't know if we're going to self-inflict. You know what I mean? That's the issue. I'm very, and that's
how I feel. Brother, there's 2 nitties outside the bookies, man.
Like,
it's crazy.
You have no real reason to be worried about us, because you know,
but we will fuck it up.
That's what I'm saying, and that's how I feel. So I'm like, I don't know. It's just who fucks up the least. Exactly.
Who is the least error prone? And I'm not gonna lie, you lot got Levi Colwill, so we got a chase. But you man were gassing him. All of these players, you lot were gassing. Cucurella, you need to get cooked as well, man. Don't think I haven't forgot the Euros.
He was good. He was good the other day. He scored a goal.
That goal was so Bandulu as well. That keeper, I was at Talksport. I was watching the game. I thought Leicester would lose, but they were kind of holding it up really and truly. Like, they weren't getting embarrassed, and the keeper was making 1-2 decent saves. And there was even a moment where I think Vardy hit the post, and I think Colwill got his head there. But the goal he conceded from Cucurella was an idiot thing. Good on Cucurella, fullback union, but flipping out. Even and do you know what? Yeah, I think I wouldn't say your fans are being harsh after the Leicester game, but obviously because I was watching it, I know it wasn't the best result. You could see what it meant to the players because they were excited. But I think you lot, you know, when you can be angry about Leicester or the isolated result, but you lot are bringing over your I'm talking for Chelsea fans, you lot are bringing over the other frustrations into this. I feel like it's reaching a boiling point, a bit like Arsenal. Both teams quite identical in a degree.
I just feel like people are fed up because they know that the fixtures coming up are really difficult for us. We've got a very difficult fixture list coming up, and we know that when we're looking forward, the way that we are dropping off and we haven't recovered really since Christmas, it's not boding well. It's not
join the club.
There's not green shoots coming out of the soil just because we won a game. That's not where the green
no
shoots
light
are.
At the end of the tunnel.
It feels very much like we're kicking the can down the road to when the better teams come and the difficult away trips come, where the mentality and the quality is going to have to be spot on and tactically spot on. We don't look like we're equipped to go to these places and win. And that's what we need to do. So it's like
our atmosphere ain't intimidating, bro. You're not coming to no Lions there.
It's pre-frustration, because if we like knew that we had like some key cogs coming back from injury, and I'm not talking about Lavia, I'm talking about a striker that's going to bang goals and he's just out for a few weeks. So we had winger bang goals, he's out for a few weeks. If we had players coming back that really moved the needle, I think people will be a lot calmer. But because we know Jackson before the injury still wasn't scoring, man was still missing chances, people were getting onto him.
What happened to that Love Island? You man were gassing him. Oh, you changed his futures. You got him out of United. What God for that? Another one that was compared to Saka. Fair enough, that was United fans. The game's the game.
And then Gue. Ain't nobody waiting for Gue to come back, bruv. What is this? Well, you know what I mean. Man's going up against Isaacs and Chris Woods. You know what I mean? I ain't got.
At least you got Nkunku and Jackson and these guys. Blood, who is up front?
But even Nkunku's not playing well. He ain't playing.
At least you got a striker to even say you're not playing well. We ain't got that. Marino's up front. He's slower than Xhaka.
He's Jesus. He ain't a striker.
Oh, Jesus. No, but even that, like Jesus is. I just want a striker at Arsenal Football Club. Like, do you know how much I missed Giroud? And I do think at his time with Arsenal, people look at Giroud with rose tints because we put him on a platform that he wasn't. We tried to make him the 20 bagsman. I think you lot in France had the right thing. He's an enhancer. He can score goals and do all of that. But he's a good team player. Brother, I need a striker. I don't understand. Do you know in the summer, the striker that Arsenal get, this better be the best thing since sliced bread. This has to be the greatest of forwards because people do this, you market opportunity. We need this. Arteta's a stickler for a forward and we don't know who it is. Brother, it has to be better than Isaac. It has to be. It has to be, bro. I don't want to hear it. For me in the summer, striker, midfielder, left winger, like between Martinelli and Trossard is finished, bro. It's finished. There's so much that's finished. Like goals win games. And yeah, do you know what annoys me with Arsenal fans? Arsenal fans wanted to hide behind the whole, what we scored from set pieces, the goals were shared around, we got 90 goals. Stats don't lie, but they don't necessarily tell the truth. Who is doing it for the majority of the season? Bukayo Saka at a push. The second is probably Kai Havertz. If Kai Havertz is one of your top goal scorers, with the greatest of respect, there's nothing to do with Kai. You're not serious. I know he scored a Champions League winning goal, but come on, if we're living or dying by his clinicalness, it's spooky, bro.
Facts.
It's
Facts.
spooky.
Facts, you know, I can't add no more to that. That is not someone that you should be relying upon for goals. If anything, he should be a off the bench, you know, secondary option.
Exactly.
That's at best for me. But he's not a pure striker. He doesn't have the bit between his teeth. He doesn't have the mentality and the technique to.
At least he gets in the box to
spearhead an attack for me.
I can't cap. I miss him, bro. I miss him. I actually miss him because you're a bit quicker than Marino. You throw yourself. I miss Kai Havertz. I think if you care about Arsenal Football Club, for what you see in the last 2 years, disregarding the striker, bro, we're a better side with Kai Havertz. That is not serious, but I can't hold that against Kai. He didn't buy himself. He didn't spend 65 million on himself. Are you lot playing that Saka? You lot got some fake Saka. He's not the truth. I see his little cross. He didn't get assist. He's not going to make it. He's not going to make it.
You're on to already.
He's definitely hitting South Park, FC Poli or something in Germany soon.
He won't start. He'll be on the bench. He might come on, and it's not because Sancho is having a jolly up. You know what I mean? He was actually our best attacker against Leicester, which speaks for itself because he wasn't some incredible attacker, but everybody else is just not as good. But yeah, we ain't gonna start him. He's not gonna start him. He's gonna start all the seniors, all of the experienced guys, and then he might bring him off the bench. But yeah, this is what we're dealing with, brother. We got no one to bring in outside the Curious George. Everybody else is injured or out, you know. So it is what it is.
Bad said Curious George.
Because he's curious. He plays like he's curious. Like I like him. He's a good young player, but he needs a loan and he needs regular game time.
Hey, it's a bit raw.
Yeah, he needs to kick. He needs to develop, and you know, we shouldn't really be having to look to him. That's. But you know, you can see when Wanyeri steps onto the pitch, that's a player that's ready to make impact right now and contribute.
None of this Cobham shit. Real guys, real slappers. That I've been telling, man. Them man there say generational because he's gassing. Certain man are doing dribbles in the FA Youth Cup when they're built like some Wakanda youth against 15-year-olds. Oh, guys, do this thing. Yeah. But uncomfortable conversations. Philip Foden, Cole Palmer, uncomfortable. I'm just gonna let Wanyeri cook. I don't even believe after this, but agendas.
You guys have produced 3. We've produced entire 11s. You understand that?
None of them got the streets, bro. None of them are better than left back Saka, bro. Don't think I forgot when me, you, and Rance used to do them streams. Yeah, I haven't forgot the darkness you put me through with Saka. You know, it's like the end of the tunnel. Oh man!
Listen, Saka might have to be at left back again if Wanyeri and him are going to get in the same team. But this is a conversation for
nasty agenda. Nasty agenda. No, I can't lie. I'm not one of them fans. Yeah, I hear it because a part of me, I know Arteta, and he hasn't done it, but Arteta has said Wanyeri could be a striker long term. I think he's got a lot to learn if he's going to play that Odegaard role. Naturally, there's a lot to take on technically and just in general in a game. It's very different when you know you've only really got two touches. Out wide is where you really get any joy or space in this Arsenal team. So there's a lot for him to learn in those 2 roles. Even though I don't think he'll end up as a right winger, I can't lie. He could make it his thing really at Arsenal because he's doing that. If he does that, then there's an issue there for Saka. But I'm screaming play on the left, man. You can get game time. Saka's the more senior one. I'm not with this moving Saka left wing, to accommodate Wanyeri. It should be the other way around. Personally, I think our wingers need to swap a lot more, but it goes back to what we said at the start of this about Arteta micromanaging and all of that. So we have to see. But that's what's annoyed me this season. Like the only highlights really this season is obviously, you know, it's always nice to either win or not lose against the top 6. It's nice to so far, and we got a Madrid team coming, not get embarrassed in the champs. I think majority of our defensive options or the key defenders have stood up too. David Raya the same. I think Declan Rice has been okay, but mainly it's the 2 kids, man. It's Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly for a large part of the season. Everything I want to see in terms of consistency and just being with it, whether it's because you're in a healthy way or nice way, a bit naive because you're just playing, you're doing what I want to see. And that annoys me about my football club. Like, I actually can't remember when Reece James and all these guys came through. I think it's a bit different for you lot because I think we could actually learn a lot with how you lot develop talents and bridge that gap between the first team and going on loan or making money. But we've got back to that stage where obviously it's first world problems. We're not what we're not where we were when Smith Rowe, Saka, and indirectly Martinelli were coming through. But I hate to see my players come through via chaos. But I guess that's the belly of the beast, bro. Really, like it's never going to be ideal.
You know, Harry Kane. You know, he
exactly
on loan at Millwall. Soldado wasn't doing it, and then he came through in chaos because he was kind of needed, and then he got a chance in Europa League, and Rashford the same. It's very rare that like a player comes in because it's like slowly integrated and it's done the right way. It's usually because someone's not delivering, someone's not doing the business, and now we need you to shoulder the burden. And sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. They're not ready.
Exactly, man. 2 questions before I let you get out of here, my boy. Where would you play Ethan, when Saka is back? Be interested to hear an Op fan's point of view.
I would look at Wanyeri playing as the 10, move into a pivot and playing Saka right wing. So Rice for me would be best in a pivot, and then who his partner would be usually. In the summer you maybe a Zubimendi, you'd get someone else new.
We can help to do the business in the summer, but the last transfer windows will show me, to just wait and see.
I just feel like Odegaard has been so stale and so he's pulling out of challenges. I don't think his place should be like nailed on. I really don't. I know he's captain, but that armband can be given to Gabriel, can be given to Rice. If the captain isn't performing to the level, if the captain needs to be taken out of the team because Wanyeri in the 10 is more unpredictable and more of a spark and has more of a acceleration and a shot to him because he's a better shooter, then I
better shooter.
Yeah, I would not be afraid. I would not be afraid to drop him. For me, it's like you've got to be fair with what you're watching. You got to be fair with what you're watching. Odegaard's not had a great season. I know he's had the injury.
Said it himself.
He's not. Yeah, he's not. He's had the injury and whatnot. But he just doesn't provide a spark. And I don't feel like with Lewis Skelly, he could be a midfielder. He was a midfielder. So I'm looking at him as if he was playing a midfield 3, he could even play. And then Calafiori, if he was defending better, you could get both of them in the team. That's an extra goal threat. There's so much movement that can happen. I don't think it should be nailed on. So I would be looking at Wanyeri to play in the 10, even though he might have more to learn. Odegaard playing like he has more to learn in the 10. So
you're not telling any lies there, bro.
You know what I mean? It's not like
and his needs to be theoretical learn. I don't want to see any practical learning. Really, bro, it's mad.
Yeah, so I'd look at it. I'd look at it because I think Wanyeri is a very special player, man. Very, very special. Very, very special player.
Steady. You make me want to say he's not good, Chelsea fans. You make me want to disagree, man. Just because you said he's good, I'm going to say he's not. But you are right, man. Like, I do look at the Odegaard one a bit weird in that, obviously, I think on tune, he's one of the best players to watch in the league, let alone Arsenal. I understand how complicated the system is for every player and collectively at Arsenal, much less what he has to do. I personally think he has too much to do, but that goes back to what we said at the start. But at the end of the day, you're not doing the job. If you're not showing any quality with the ball, the guile, because let's have it right, Odegaard's a professional footballer because of his technical proficiencies and needed the needle pass, whatever the hell they call it, all of that kind of stuff. He's not doing it. So really, you're just running around. You're pressing. Yeah. If that wasn't Odegaard, forget Odegaard as a player. If that wasn't Odegaard and that was another player, we'd say you've got all gear, no idea. You're not doing anything on the ball. And people might not be able to match what you do on the ball, but they could match off it. Like, I think Kai Havertz, he's not fit. Kai Havertz could do Odegaard's role. Just off the ball, he could do his role. And that's where I'm with you in that. Odegaard, I like you and whatnot, but your role is looking a bit shaky. You definitely need a replacement to kind of fight you for your role. I do think you're getting into that Ozil territory when it's become clear that you're not doing it. Can we just pull you out of it? Would you take the captaincy off him in the summer? Do you think that has any bearing on him?
It's a difficult one because what does that do to him? Sometimes the people that are leading that they don't necessarily need the armband. Like Rice has always been a leader at West Ham. He doesn't necessarily need
a natural thing.
Yeah, Gabriel, he's leading regardless. So maybe taking it off of him is only creating drama or creating. You might be ruining the player even more. I don't know. You have to know the player. You have to know the personality. Is the captaincy actually hindering him? Would he be better without it? Take the pressure off. I don't know. That kind of decision can only be made by someone who knows these players as people.
You have to be on the ground, isn't it?
That's a people decision. That's not really a performance decision. You can have a captain that don't play and he's just in the bench and he's there.
We've had that.
The team talks. Yeah, the team talks. When we won the league under Conte, Terry was the captain. He didn't play. It was Cahill, Luiz, and Aspilicueta. He was just in the background. But, you know, you're bringing the intangibles. So your vice will take the armband in the game, whatever. I just think with this position, you've got to be either able to carry the ball past players and break lines. You got to be able to pass and break lines, or you got to shoot. If you're not doing any of those things, which he's not,
and you can't curl into a ball.
Yeah, you can't be undroppable. Because I'm having a vision of Saka and Nwaneri playing together and interchanging, and he's pulling over to that right, and they're both dribbling and they're both going at players. They're both shooting. I'm sorry, it's a very scary sight that I'm imagining, and I think a lot of people think because now your profile of left wingers have never been able to come central as well. If you even got an Eze and he was coming in central and he was overlapping the left back,
and
that changes the whole dynamic.
That
changes the whole dynamic because now Nwaneri isn't just like a pure 10. He can drift to the right and give a little two tandem with Saka. Right. Then Eze's coming in central on that left channel. That solves the left 8 because now you've just got your pivot in Rice and Zubimendi. You got your back 3 in White, Timber, Gabriel and Saliba as your back 3. Imagine. And Lewis Skelly or Calafiori bombing forward. Now Calafiori's in goal-scoring positions up the pitch. Now Eze and Nwaneri are double 10. Rice, Zubimendi, double pivot. Saka. Now you got, bro, people
think one thing fits all. And I get it. It's a double-edged sword. You need consistency, but you need to
have your own dreams
change
and aspirations, your own imagination. Don't worry about what Arteta's cooking because you cook something different. It can still work. That's nuts.
Even 2 8s and Rice as a lone 6 or Odegaard partnering Rice,
you know
I think that would be a bit too lightweight in midfield, admittedly. But the possibilities are endless. And Arteta, again, he's got his way of, we know who is our first choice midfield free, but there's been times where he's gone with the builders in midfield. He's gone with Merino, he's gone with Rice, he's gone with Partey. So I don't think it's too far-fetched what Matisse is saying, if I'm honest with you, man. And it's looking dark. Odegaard, football's a fickle game. If you do the business, I'll be back waffling about you. I think you are probably off the ball, probably the most important player in that Mikel Arteta system. But at the end of the day, football's played with a ball. We need to put the ball in the back of the net. You are one of the more experienced players. Whether I think you're necessarily captain material or not is another thing. You've been given it. So that tells me there's clout. I'm going to get into the super chat and this question before I let Matisse get out of here. Yeah, but it's only on brand. Yeah. Do you think Palmer this season hasn't really been better than last season, just getting away with GA? Well,
he's definitely not been better than last season, of course, because last season he was flawless. He was perfect. This season, he had a good start. Then last 2-3 months, he's not been at it. But yeah, the statistics are still there. But we want the performances because that's what he's capable of. So, but yeah, nowhere near last season, no chance.
There you have it, man. Big up, SA, one love for the super chat. A man said Birdsray and Steve Urkel. He's blaming us, but big up Arsenal. Big up. Arsenal only needed a few players. Now we need to add to the starting lineup and the squad because players are leaving. It's a mess. I mean, that stability in football is always an illusion, really and truly. I think the annoying thing about not winning the league in the last 2 years would have been, whether we like Edu or Arteta or these players, there was some stability. It was a bit more rosier where the ownership was concerned. And again, it's forever changing. You've always got to learn from hindsight and apply better foresight. As much as I want players now for win now mode, when you're linked with Nepan and these kids, kind of what Chelsea are doing a bit differently, and scroll back earlier, but like you always want to find the stars for tomorrow. So I do think we need to do that. It's always ever changing. Every 18 months, there's somebody's contract that needs to be dealt with. A year from now, if me and Matisse are sitting here saying the same things, we're probably talking about another contract for Mikel Arteta. So it's crazy, man. Matisse, what you got to come out today, man?
Nothing dropping to. Actually, wait. I might review Liverpool PSG because I'm enjoying talking about top players at top clubs and watching top teams go up against each other and seeing top level football. It's nice to talk about that every now and then. It gives you a break from the bullshit that you're watching. So yeah, I'll probably review that, and then after that, I might be able to drop my vlog from Copenhagen. But
yeah, drop that, man. I see your thingy, man. You've been doing
it's not easy. It's a big edit.
I see the FIFA one as well, man.
Yeah.
Coaching that at Stevenage.
Yeah, a lot of my stuff on YouTube right now is not on screen. Like, it's the voiceovers and having the right tone and telling the story, and it's just tough to, because people want you to put it out, but it takes longer. I see why these YouTubers, some of them, they only upload once a week because it takes so long, and the edit is crazy.
Man, perfection.
Yeah, it takes long. Yeah, But
I
it's
look
good.
at
It's
it
fun.
again. I'm not gonna let this guy forget it. Like, did you know how much? Yeah, this guy used to just say, "No, I'm gonna do my YouTube channel, man. I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it." Do you know how long he was waffling on Instagram? Now look at the guys, the way he's flying, mate. Like, proud of you, Geezer.
Appreciate
Like,
it. No, yeah, I was stalling. You know, Kojo Funds. That was me, fam. That was me.
hey, it's crazy. Matisse do a watch along for Liverpool PSG. Get onto him, man.
No, you know what? Yeah, I've stopped the rival watch-alongs this season because I just wanted to just be easy and kind of just do the Chelsea ones and just I was making notes, bro. I'm really enjoying making notes. I'm not gonna lie.
Join the club. Join the club, man.
Bro, when I was watching last week's game and I was just watching it by myself and really focusing on what was going on in that picture, not because obviously when you're doing watching, you got to entertain, you're engaging, you're trying to make sure that the chat is
chat and whatnot.
Responding to the chat. I said, you know what? Let me just really like try and be like a fake coach, a fake scout. Let me really dig, bro. I enjoyed it, bro. So now when I did my review, people are like, yo, you hit every nail on the head. I said, I could get used to this. I feel like stump pig up in this bitch. So I'm gonna do it again.
Hey, Matisse, let me let you get out of here, man. Big up yourself, man. We got to run it back, man. I'll speak to you, see what we can do across the channels in the international break, man. But I asked you, we came through. I thought, you know what? Let me get my request in early before it gets to that Arsenal Chelsea thing. Let's be proactive. So yeah, man. People, subscribe to the channels in that. Matisse, one love, my boy. People, I'm back at 2 p.m. and then 4 p.m. with Kenny Ken. Hold fire on the PSG versus Liverpool watch along. I probably will do it, but just hold fire. And yeah, on that note, peace, folks, man. Done, no. Safe. Matisse, one love, my guy.
Big up.
Safe.